Okay, so up to now I've got my 9 squares ready to go. That is the center, and that's color light 1. And then I normally just make 1 square because you tend to forget what you're supposed to be doing, and then you just get completely confused. So if you have one of these ready, it means you'll end up with 10 squares, and you can keep 1 for yourself because you need 9 for the quilt. So that's my center square. That's my first light, second light, third light. That's my first dark, second dark, third dark. And these last 2 colors, that blue and this green, which is actually going to, I didn't use the yellow, that's going to go there, and I didn't use the blue because I haven't got a lot of that material, but that will go in the others. Those last 2 tend to suck your material and you will run out, so you probably need at least half a meter of each of those, or you're not going to have enough when you get to those. So I'll show you just how to do the first square, and then I'm going to go off and do a few, and you can and I'll come back just to show you how to check the sizes, because if you don't do it exactly right, you end up with squares that you've got to chop off angles of it, and it's just a nightmare. So if I flip this over, I said to you earlier, always iron away from the center, and that's the reason you end up with something very nice and neat, that things you don't have little corners that are going all funny and stuff. So always iron away from the center, and the way you do it is you just center, light, light. If I don't know where to go next, I just turn it over and go center, light, light, dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark, etc. So I've got 3 light, 3 dark. I go light, light, dark, dark. That's my first square done. And then I tend to check that size. I will put this down once I've got those 9 squares that size, and I will I've got a couple of things. I've got this square thing. It's not very handy because it doesn't, you run out of space pretty quickly because the squares get big quickly, but that helps, and it's also got an edge that sharpens your blade as you cut. But then I tend to just use a smaller ruler, which is it's not very long, but that's easy to use. All right, so I grab my 9 squares that are ready to go. Now I've finished with the center, which means these colors here, I'm not going to use that again. So what I tend to do is when I'm finished with something, I get rid of it, because otherwise at the end you have material lying all over. You can't remember what you've used, where you're supposed to do. So, and it's also quite satisfying getting rid of something because you go, oh, thank you, that's done. So I've got it set out in the correct order. Where's my other? Just put this here because it tends to blow away. So I've done one of my lights. I'm now going to do the next light. So I'm going to grab a couple of these, put that with my machine, go around, and so you've got your 9 squares ready to go. You turn them over and you're ready to sew. So depends on the size, because this is quite small and because I have enough material, I tend to now just use it one of my strips. Once you get to the bigger sizes, you sew these strips that has not been used yet, you sew them together. So this one will go with this one like that. I'll sew that together, strip, which saves me time because I don't run out of material. I just can sew all 9 of, well, normally they get too big. I normally go about 4 and 5. So that one goes at the bottom on your machine. So on my machine, I've just got it set as a straight stitch, and the size for me is number 2, and I will leave the machine, will stay there forever until very, very at the end I do one little zigzag. That's it. The rest of the time it's only straight. So they lie like this. Color one, light one is done. That's my center. I put this one on here. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that it's nice and square and it fits. And then I'm going to close it off at this side. Like I said, I don't know if you can see that, but that says 10 on my machine. And what I do is I always use 10. So that gets clipped on. Where's my clip? Oh, okay, I can't put it down at the moment, but anyway, I'll put that down and I'll sew that. Once I get to about there, I'll take my second square, put that there, then I'll sew that one, then I'll take my next square and take that one until I've got all 9 of them done, and then I'll go iron them open, then I'll cut them, and then I'll do the same. I'll flip them over, I'll find my second color because I'll be on dark 1, and then I do the same thing again until I'm finished, and it just goes around and around, and I'll check the size as I go.